Good morning, Gun Nuts. It's Nathan from the Reloading Room, coming to you with a VR from mrbigsteel, who asked me on Slack to show my reject bullets from my latest casting session. Wanted me to talk about what possibly caused these bullets to be rejects and what it is that I do to try to help it while I'm casting. So let's see if we can take a look at these. All right, bless this camera's heart. So as you can see on this bullet, it's pretty shiny, and there's wrinkles that run all the way through it from the top to the bottom. The nose is slightly deformed. Okay. Now the wrinkles don't have to necessarily run any particular way, but just if you have a bullet that comes out, you know, it's pretty shiny and it's got wrinkles in it and stuff like that, and it's not well formed, most likely your mold is too cold, or your mix is too cold, or some combination of the both. So maybe just let your mix continue to come up to heat. Maybe just start it a little early, and if that doesn't seem to do it, then pick up your rate of casting. Go ahead and throw a little bit faster and get your mold back with lead in it a little bit quicker. The second one here is going to be even more hard to try to explain, but as you can see, this bullet is more frosted. Alright, so it's got kind of like almost a rougher texture to it. And right here's where you're starting to see it. And this is going to be very hard to pick up. But if you have a bullet that's frosted, and your bands start to get rounded, or the band starts to kind of blow away, like a whole section of it's just gone, you're casting too fast. Your mold's too hot. You got to let your mold cool down quite a bit. For this casting session I did a pretty fair job of staying where my bullets were just slightly frosted, which is how I typically like them. Another thing that can happen, and I'm hoping you can see this, especially with the hollow point type molds, see this, I have a split base. So right across here, it's torn. Now what that is from, that's from me trying to release the bullet too quickly. So the bullet had not completely hardened when I was trying to release it from the mold. In addition, when a bullet sometimes sticks in the mold and you tap on it and things like that, it can go sideways in the mold and can cause the base to tear, or in the case of this bullet, with a hollow point specifically, man, my camera, I need a new camera someday, the nose will actually tear on you from where the pin is in there, and it moves sideways and it tears the nose. So if you start getting rejects like that, just let your mix cool down when it's in the mold. So you go ahead and cast it, and then let it sit for a couple seconds and make sure that your sprue is completely hardened, and then go ahead and cut and drop your bullets. Lastly, and probably the most common that I have, to be honest, it's inclusions in my mix that gives me, I don't know if you can see this at all. Right there. Alright. It gives like little spots on the bullet and pock marks and things like that. And that's usually from having just a little bit of junk in my mix. I believe that's what it's from. I cast through that. There's nothing I've found that helps it. Now, if you try sometimes with I've had this problem come up where it won't stop doing that with a smaller bullet. And I've had to switch over to dipping the bullet to try to get it to stop doing that. So it may not be inclusions, I'm not sure. Alright, another problem you can run into is rounded bases. For a rounded base, usually what I found is that I didn't pour enough of a sprue. So when you go ahead and cast and you let a little bit more lead come up through the sprue plate, and that helps to kind of give a little bit of positive pressure, so when the lead hardens, there's a little bit of extra material there for it. One of the other things you can have happen, which I didn't have happen, is splash, where you'll have a wrinkle that seems to run all the way around the nose of the bullet, and what it looks like is the lead splashed when it hits the nose of the mold, and then splashes up and then hardens, and then you pour on top of it. Sometimes that comes from when you pour the mold, or when you pour the bullet, and the pour goes directly into the sprue plate hole, and then it goes directly in there, and then it splashes, and then you move your handle a little bit or something, and then you start pouring off the edge of the sprue plate. That can cause that, or if you have too slow of a pour rate from your pot. So I know there's a lot of things that go into this, and I can't hit them all. I'm sure I'll forget them if I did, but I appreciate it, Mr. Big Steel, and I hope this helps. Till then, stay safe, have fun. I'll see you when I see you. Thanks.